Hey, happy Tuesday! Thanks for joining me live here tonight. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for beginning crafters. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, and it's a time that we can relax and craft together. So right now we're working on a quilting project. It is the Granny Square Quilt, and we are close to being done with this guy. We just have the one last border to put on, and by done I mean with the top. We got a pile to go yet. We have to make a back, we have to quilt this thing, put on a binding and a label. There's still tons of steps, but our top, which we've been working on probably for over a year now, it's getting done. It's getting done real soon here. If not tonight, then tomorrow for sure. So awesome. Thanks again, you guys, for joining me here. Let's get going. All right, so here we go. I got the quilt up on the table again. I think it's looking awesome. So last night we cut out we sewed together our final borders here. So we got two shorter ones and two slightly longer ones. The longer ones are for later. I labeled the shorter ones with just a clip I put on there. That's my reminder that, hey, these are the shorter ones. If I was gonna go more than just overnight, I would have put a real label on here. I would have said like shorter, use these first or something, but that's all the reminder I need for overnight. So I'm going to set these other ones aside for now. We'll get there soon. Oh, and again, it is the new month, so here is our May embroidery of the month. I actually think it matches really, really well with with the Granny Square Quilt. We did a whipped back stitch, so you can kind of see it almost looks like baker's twine. It's kind of like fluttering between two different colors for all those lines. So we have not done that here for our embroidery of the month, so that's going to be super duper fun. Not next week, but the week after, we'll be stitching this live here for the week. So there's time to get the bundle, get some floss together. Floss does come with the bundle. And there's the PDF pattern as well, too, that you can buy individually or it comes with the bundle as well. So I'm kind of tempted to make this part of the label on the back, just because I'm noticing today just how close the colors are. I may do that. I may put this on the back and then put like the information of the quilt on there with it too. Maybe, I don't know. That's sticking in my head a little bit. So it'll be a while till we're that far. But the colors just are working out super duper nice. All right, so we are going to pick a side here. They're all the same at this point. There's no real top and bottom. And we are going to do our whole clipping session that we've done for the other borders and for the long pieces of sashing. We are going to take one of our strips and fold it in half, and we're going to mark the halfway point. And we're going to do the same with the quilt. We'll mark the halfway point, and then we will ease it out over the whole quilt, just to try and get so there's not one area like more stretched than another area. All right, so there's one. I'm going to put the other one to the side for now. And I've been marking it with just pressing a line into it. So I'm just going to fold this in half. This is the longest we've been now for having to put these pieces together. And my table is just so small for this. This would be a great thing to do if you had a nice big like dining room table or something, or on the floor too. I have neither of those things for this, so I'm just trying to be careful. Get it even enough, and I'm just marking the halfway point. There we go. So that's just going to have a little fold in. That will be our center point. Ooh, I can't get it apart now. Okay. So, and I'm just because there's a bunch of other little folds in here, I'm going to throw my Wonder Clip on there just as a reminder. And the Wonder Clip is clipped on the right side. So, all right. So that's that. Let's do the same thing for this guy. So it should land right in the middle of, maybe we'll just, I don't think I'm going to fold it. I'm going to just say, okay, it should be right in the middle of, there should be 3 on this side and 3 blocks on this side. So right here in the middle. And we've lined this up. So I'm going to use my squares as my starting point here. And we're just going to do it that way. All right, so right sides together. I'm going to kind of align it with, I can see it up here too. I'm going to align it with those points. And that is going to be my first clip. All right, so I'm going to ignore this side for now, and we'll do this side. Ugh, it gets so awkward when a quilt gets this large in a small little space here. Okay, so I'm going to just make sure the right side is up, or like I don't have any twirl in it. And I'm going to go all the way to the end, and I'm going to clip right at the end as well. Let's get a pile of wonder clips here. Oh, wow, that's amazing. Sylvia says, I received a gift from my partner today, a coat made of old saris. It appears to be covered with sashiko stitching. That's awesome. So there's, if you go to eBay, I'm so tempted to do this, but I'm still in the, like, I don't need more fabric, I'm going to just use up everything that I have sort of mode. But if you go to eBay and Google, not Google, but like eBay search for, just a sec, I'm just trying to like kind of equal my 2 points. So I got this point and then the end point. I'm just trying to kind of equal it out so that my piece is flat here, and I'm going to just go in the middle and clip that, and then I'm going to try and even it out, just so there's no, like, what I don't want is to like sew it all the way to end and then have like this big open bulky area. I want to just kind of disperse it out, so it sews nice and even. So I'm just gonna keep going in the middle a few more times. But if you go to eBay and do a search for like, gosh, like bulk sari fabric, gosh, I think that's probably what the search would be. There's people selling bags of sari scraps, and you can pick like the color scheme or stuff, but I've been kind of wanting to just get a bag of those and sew it together in like a nice quilt, and yeah, or a bag or something, and then do all that nice like sashiko stitching to hold it together. I just think that would be so fun. So that's in the back of my head of a someday project. So I'm waiting for that urge to like boil up to the top, and once that happens, then I'll splurge and get and it's actually, it's like $10 or something for a bag of all these like beautiful fabrics. It's been a while since I looked. I had someone on Instagram, this is probably 2 years ago or something, someone on Instagram mentioned that they had done that before, and I had looked it up at that point, and yeah, sure enough, just bags and bags of like this fabric. So fun. Alright, I'm going to this side now. I wonder if I should do this to the opposite edge right away. I think I might. Then I can just deal with this like twice for the night instead of like 4 times. So yeah, so I'm going to rotate this 180 degrees and clip the opposite end. And then I can sew both ends at the same time too. We're doing that. Then I can press them both at the same time. Yeah, let's combine some of these work things for tonight. These are like 3 of my least favorite things to do on a quilt. Work when it's like super huge like this, especially on these little borders where you have to keep going to the center, and pressing really large pieces like this. What was the third one? I don't know. There was a third one that I didn't like doing this size stuff, but I do like being this far, though. That's fun. All right, I'm equaling this out a little bit and getting it towards the edge. Ugh. scooch up more to have enough room. Alright, this one's a little bulky, so let's head to the center here. We're putting a bunch of clips in here. I just want to make sure that I don't have like it bulking up as I sew. So we're just going to, when I sew, I'm going to just like kind of stretch it from one clip to the next. Not really stretch, but allow both sides of the fabric to be pulled equally to the next clip. If I make these areas too big, one might like overtake the other, like this piece versus underneath. So we're clipping away. I totally want to make one of those quilt coats. I think I might have talked about this before, but they're becoming popular. Like they're starting to be like runway stuff to just people taking quilts and turning them into like coats. I think I've talked about this. There's one person that I follow. I'm going to do the other side right away. Follow on Instagram called Psychic Outlaw. But she takes vintage quilts, like she acquires them somehow, I don't know. And you can request your own quilt and send it in. But she will turn them into like these coats. And the one that I want is called a chore quilt, or a chore coat, I mean. And they just look so fun. And of course, like she has tons of people. Is this the? Uh-oh. This is the two for later. I put those over here. I put the other one this size on the floor. Okay, good. Don't want to get that confused. But all of the people that, you know, not an unboxing, but like just take photos of themselves, like selfies in their coat. They all look just so cute, and it's just so fun. I would love one of those quilted chore quilts or chore coats. But then I'm like, I probably have an old quilt around here that I could do something like that with, but it'd be cool to just get one from her. I don't need more stuff though, but they're cute. They're on my radar. I would wear that thing all the time, for sure. Alright, so I'm just marking that center again. So we're just at the opposite side now. So I was on one side doing the opposite. We'll sew those, press them, and then we'll do the two other sides that are also opposite of each other. Okay, I'll do this side first again. So bulky. Oh yeah, let's get the end first. Oh, that's pretty. So Patty says, you were talking about binding last night, and Linda Powers suggested the red you have in the center. That would be, oops, you guys can't see. That would be kind of striking on the outside. I wonder if I have any of that yet left. So that's going to be the next thing after we finish this border. It's just examining what do we got left of this fabric to make a binding from and a back from, in theory. And I'm going to just start sewing the biggest pieces I can find to make the back for this. I am going to just try and use pieces from the quilt here, or fabrics that I used in the quilt, just because I'm trying to use them up, and I think it's fun incorporating the same fabrics in the front as the back, like using up all the fabric in the one quilt. I think that's kind of cool. Like that fabric was meant for that quilt and only that quilt sort of thing. Oh, Amy says, I gave away a pattern last year on how to use a sweatshirt and sew fabric to make a coat. Oh, fun! Kind of wishing I kept it. Yeah, yep. It comes around, those patterns and those styles again. Yeah, that red would be like really kind of cool. I don't know if I have any of that. That's gonna be probably what determines the binding is what I have available. Oh, but there's that, we could do that patchwork. I forgot we talked about that. We could do a patchwork binding too. I don't know if you guys have done that before, but you can do a binding where instead of having all the strips be the same, you can just combine strips from all different fabrics, and then it's like around the edge, it's just like a patchwork, or just like it switches, mid binding, and it's just really pretty, I think. So that might be something, but that would be cool too if there's like a pop of red just in a little bit of the border. That would be neat. All right, one side done. Let's spread out to the other side. Oh, I'm going to drop everything on the floor here. Too small of space. Oh, let's get the end first. Okay. Even that out. Feels big right now, but when we clip it all together, it'll work out. I didn't measure this quilt. I'm just kind of forcing it into these borders, which I think is fine. Okay, about right there. We'll see when it's done, I suppose. Yeah, scrappy binding would kind of go with the idea that this looks scrappy, like it looks. I know we did these blocks all by strips, so we didn't do it patchworky, but it looks kind of patchworky. So patchworky binding might be fun. I did read the instructions. I've been trying to stick to the instructions. Well, actually, that's not true. We totally veered from the instructions. We did the blocks by the instructions, and then we did it our own way after that. But I am going to try and quilt it like how it has in the instructions, which is intense. There's a lot of quilt action happening for sure. I've never done that before, like done a suggested quilting from a pattern before, so that's something I want to try. And it's doing a lot of types of quilting that I haven't done before. I don't remember what I was talking about with that. Oh, I've been trying to stick to the instructions for the most part, and in the instructions they had just use more of your main color as the binding, which I think would look fine too. But again, I really would like to use fabrics that we've already used in the quilt, and I don't even know if I have any more of this blue, so that might just be out of the question, just because I might not have it. Okay, we're ready to quilt, to sew these strips. So I'm going to sew one side, then we'll rotate it around, sew the other side since we clipped them both at the same time. Then we'll press them both, which will take forever, and then we'll work on getting these other two sides on. We'll see where we're at with that point. So I'm going to shush all this. It's going to sit in my lap, and we are going to hope that this isn't too difficult to manage. Okay. Let me scooch over. It's not the back in the binding or anything yet, so it shouldn't be that unruly. Oh, it has been grabbing though, this particular quilt, since there's so many seam allowances on the back. It's been grabbing at this point and grabbing at like some other points here. So that's I forgot about that. That's what I'm going to have to pay attention to. Just slightly annoying. Alright, so I'm holding this at the next clip, and I'm holding it taut. I'm not stretching anything though, and I just want both the top and the bottom to feel like neither of them is gonna bubble up by the time it gets to the next clip. Ooh, I just got a tinge of what if we have to do, what if we run out of bobbin thread. So I hope that wasn't a warning that I'm gonna run out soon, because that'd be annoying. And I'm out of wound ones, so I don't know. We'll have to give that a try. Yeah, it's stitching fine. We're going to have oodles of clips sitting here, but we'll use them on the next part. Oh, you know what? I think I'm going to get my glove back on. Oh, good, I'm sitting on it. Just because this glove, it's rubbery on the bottom, and it's helping me just kind of push or like grip the fabric. My hand slides a little bit, so having this glove on is going to be a little helpful. Keeping on shushing the weight up a little, weight of the quilt up a little higher. Nolan says bobbin is sounding a little rattly. Could be close. Ugh. It's also probably time to put a new needle on and oil this guy again. I'm thinking it's getting time for all that stuff. And I always forget to do it. It is sounding a little loud though, isn't it? Oh, you know what? I still have my thing that blocks the motor open a little in there. Maybe this will help. Maybe the motor's working a little too hard. Sounds the same. Alright, I hope we're around. Oh, we just passed halfway. I see our little fold. Okay, I'm gonna have my stiletto help me tuck these ends under. I better. Now I'm paranoid, so now I'm keeping on checking. I'm trying to see if it looks weird. Oh, I know what's looking weird. It's just I have a different top and bottom thread color, and I can kind of see the thread coming through. Which maybe means the top's too tight, which makes me think that, oh, we might be reaching the bobbin, end of the bobbin. That would be annoying. Although I don't think we've sewn for a while though either, so maybe we're not reaching the end. I might have to wind a few though before tomorrow, just in case. All right, we're almost to the end of this one. I think we're getting stuck there. There, all those clips allowed our ends to be pretty well matched up here. Ooh, out of here. Okay, I'm going to get this one on a leader, and then we'll rotate it around and do the other side. Okay, that guy's done. Let's rotate 180 degrees. Get this back in my lap. Hopefully I don't knock a million things to the ground. All right, here's our other end. So this is slick. Okay, I like that we clipped both right away. That was nice. Super nice. We'll definitely do that with the other side, other two sides. I peeked at the instructions, and we press, for the pressing instructions, we press towards the outer border here, which makes sense because there's no piecing or anything of it, so it's going to want to naturally go that way, I think. Let's readjust a little. Okay. We're approaching the center. There's our center fold. Definitely getting stuck. I think we're going to get pretty far with this tonight. Oh, 1.5 inch binding. Lenore says if you don't have enough to do a 2.5 inch binding, Pat Sloan does a 1.5 inch binding. Oh, sewing a single layer. Oh, and then folded. Oh, interesting. So that's kind of like how you would do a bias strip, I think. You'd sew one side and then flip it over. Yeah, that's kind of like a bias, a real actual bias strip. I'll have to look into that. That's interesting. I haven't done one like that before. I usually do 2.25 inches for my binding, I think. If I remember right, I always have to kind of remember. I always second guess myself. Then I just ask Mom, and she says 2.25. Then I do that. Getting to the end. Ooh, let's grab another leader so we can get this off the machine here. Ooh, whoops. Come on in here. zillion pieces. Should work on this quilt again soon. I'm sure we have lots more to sew together. Okay, let's see what we got here. Ooh, look at it all just all over the place. That's pretty. All right, let's get the iron going again. And, okay, we're going to press this outward. So I think I'm going to leave it on the top and just press over the edge. That will make it so my seam allowances go outward. That'll be the easiest way to do it too. So we're going to just shimmy along the edge here, starting over here, getting to the other side. And then we'll just repeat the process with our slightly longer border pieces. And now you can kind of see why the borders aren't all the same length, why we need those other two borders needed to be a little bit longer, because now when we open this, we've gained like 1.5 inches or 1.25 inches or something, and then on the other side as well. So we're a little bit longer on this side. They're not mitered like these where we could have the borders the same length. Okay. Give it a little press. This is gonna make it look so nice and finished. Look how nice that looks, though. It's just giving this middle fancy border a little extra like air around it, which kind of showcases. It's like framing the nice border is what it's doing. Ugh, we're gonna be shimmy shamming this down the row here. Each step just makes it look more and more, like, exponentially more finished. It's just fun. We're going to have a session of just going around and trimming all of our little fuzzles that are all over this. I think we'll do that before we quilt it, maybe. Because there's so many of it, I don't want it to get in the way of quilting. Maybe we do that before we even sandwich it together, or as we sandwich. Ugh, I hate combining tasks like that. So maybe not. Maybe we'll sandwich it first, which is when we pin it to the back and the batting, and then maybe I'll go around and trim it. Looking so nice. Oh, it's gonna be fun to just iron this whole thing too. It's gonna be really pretty. Get a look at it all at once. Ugh, we do have to get that back done though first. I'm like, ooh, I could bring it to my parents and sandwich it all up on their nice big floor soon. But nope, we got a little while yet. Gotta make that back. So probably a couple months yet. But we're getting there. We're going to finish this guy. All right, let's snip this off. Don't need him anymore. And get this corner all nice. So I don't think my little puckers are looking as bad today either. I think, once we get the quilting in there and all that, it'll still be there, but it'll be there's a lot of other stuff to look at than that, right? Okay, so this side's done. Looking super nice, I think. Okay, let's rotate around again. Do this to the other side, and then, look at the difference. This versus that pretty, framing of it. I think that looks good. Okay. There we are. Definitely really happy that we did both sides at once. It feels like I'm minimizing my time on, the stuff I don't like. Like all the clipping. We just did all that at once. Alright, now this is definitely the side that the pucker is a bit crazier. So we're going to have to really work on how we pin that, because we can kind of tuck one side under and make it a hair better, I think. But we'll tweak that like as I get to the quilting part. Like actually while I'm quilting, like right in there, I can probably fold it and manipulate it with the stiletto a little bit. It'll still be there, but we can tweak it a little, I think. Looking pretty. Ugh, all these fun blocks. It's nice to revisit these. I would love, we've talked about this before, but like, I was asked, I think a while back, if I would do this quilt again with different colors. And in theory, I love that because I really like how this quilt turned out, but I don't really repeat myself very often because my biggest thing I like is like learning new stuff and challenging myself with a new idea or something I haven't tried before, or like just a question like, what if I did this with this or whatever. So I have ideas of what I would do to do this again. That would be really fun, I think, but I don't know, they're not rising to the top enough for me to do like a whole nother quilt. But I would love to do like maybe 4 together and do like this quilt again on a smaller scale. So like a baby quilt or something, just the 4, and play around with some ideas that way. That would be really fun, I think. So I could see doing this again in that context. Okay, last little bit here. And again, here's, yep, these are the bad pucker sides. Yeah, that's way off. Well, that's how it is. Okay, we are done with those 2 sides. Let's rotate just a little bit, and we'll start our other side. So it's still, the center is still the 3 down, so oh, it's not quite these 2. I must not have lined that up perfectly. So I'm going to aim for right here. I can still actually see my fold line that I did. So I'm just going to go a hair over from these 2, because I must have done this a little bit off. So let's grab a strip. So these are the longer strips, the 71-inch strips. Let's fold one of these in half while I still have all this iron stuff out. Okay. This is maybe overkill, this whole like pressing it, but it's making me feel safer, so I'm doing the full like press. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna go a hair over from where these squares are. If we're close, we're gonna be okay, especially with this design, I think. Ooh, I got seam allowances. There we are. Now we can scooch this out of the way and go back to that process that we did before. So I'm going all the way over to this side first. Oh, making sure it's all flat still. We don't have a twist. And make sure your right sides are together. So that's good. We have our seams on the outside there. Lenore says, I know all the tricks now. Unless I missed a conversation. And someone else knows all the tricks and not me. Alright, I'm going to shimmy a whole pile of these Wonder Clips. We should probably be using the same amount as last time. It'll just turn out that way. Alright. Ugh, now we gotta even this all out again. Let's do it. Ugh, I'm just gonna do my best. I'm just going to try and get to the center here and shimmy it down and call it a day. So bulky. I've definitely acquired some tricks along the way during these lives for sure, and some new tools like these wonder clips and all those things. Oh, did I go? Was this the center here? Oh, we'll do one more in here. Sure. Okay. We'll do both sides right away again. It's getting late already, so if we run out of bobbin on these, we run out of bobbin, and I'll fix it before tomorrow. All right, let's get the end. Wow, flip that the wrong way. All right, good enough. I'm just gonna get towards the center. Oh, I ran out of clips. Zoop, zoop, zoop. Okay. Home stretch here now. And then we gotta do the other side. I was wondering why we had so many clips left over. I'm like, I'm supposed to have the exact same amount of clips. It's because I haven't done the other side yet. Okay, rotate. It's kind of fun to see it all mashed together here. All right, I need to press the center of the border again. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, here's the center here. Now this one looks more lined up. It looks like I got these squares a little bit better. Actually, it looks maybe a little to the right, so I'll go to a little bit to the left to get right in the center. Oh, our last strip. This is our last pre-cut piece that we made for this quilt. We cut this whole quilt beforehand. This is our last piece right here. Although we'll have to cut more. But it was a long time. It took us forever to cut all the strips we needed for this project, especially since we were only doing it like 1 week out of the month. So it took like months to get these pieces cut. So this is it. Last piece. All right. Okay, there's the center. Just got to make sure I get the right sides together. Yep, there we go. Yeah, a little bit to the left this time. Oh, you do the finger walking, Amy, like what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm just like, how else do I get it to stay in place? Um, so, finger walking it is. Alright. Now I'm going all the way to the end here, so we got that other border involved this time. So this will be a little longer. Oh, well, we already did this the other side the same way. Ugh. So much bulk. I feel like I'm a little impatient with getting this all lined up now, but this like initial kind of stretch to get everything in the general right spot, I think, is working fine. Then I can shimmy it to the edge. Okay. I like these smaller parts. That's easier to do. I don't mind this. So I used to I didn't know about this, right? To like put it in the middle and then keep doing the middles. I just, started sewing like my strip and then, got to the end. But sometimes my end would be like so much longer than the other edge. And so I'd stretch it or whatever. And then my quilt wouldn't be square or, be bending weird or whatever. And, or just not measure right. And this kind of mitigates that a little bit. So I learned that since I started doing these lives, for sure. I know I talked about when I started these lives, which is like a zillion years now, like at least 4 years. Gosh, maybe more, 4 or 5 years, maybe 6 years, who knows, oh my god. But I felt like I knew enough about quilting and quilted enough that if I was in a room of quilters, I'd at least know sort of what they're talking about. Like I'd feel like I'd be faking it in that room of quilters a little bit, but I'd know enough. Now I feel like after doing all these quilts and learning all these tips and hanging out with you guys here and all your good tips and stuff and just like the things we've tried together, now I feel like we know all the stuff, even if we haven't done it. It's just something that, well, we've done a lot, and even if we've only done it once, I feel like, I get the concept. I just probably need more practice at it and stuff. So I feel like I could definitely hold my own in that room of quilters, that fake room of quilters. After these years of working with you guys here. Alright, grabbing the last few clips I got hanging out here. This is the one I don't like doing. Let's equalize this out. Walking the fingers. Right there will do. Zoop, zoop, zoop. I feel like I'm having to like super concentrate to do this, which is kind of weird. Me walking my fingers like that is just trying to get back to the center without letting it move on me. Like, if I want to get the center here, but if I lift up, now I got these bloops in here again. So I need those flat to find the center, or roughly the center. All right, I'm missing one clip here, so one either flew away somewhere, or I ended up put one extra somewhere, or I used one less than what I was thinking on the last one. All right, we're ready. Let's get these two sides. I think there's probably just enough time to sew these two sides. So we'll either sew both sides and be good to go, and then we'll probably iron it tomorrow. Or I'll run out of bobbin and we'll call it a night. And I'll have to put more bobbin thread on before tomorrow. And I think tomorrow we'll probably start the back, or at least kind of consider what we're going to do for the back here. Got a few days yet. Okay. I'm going to get my glove on again. That's been working nice. It's all gonna fall on the floor. I gotta get some bulk, some weight up here. Alright, let's get this going. Let the leader help me, or the stiletto, just to kind of hold that beginning bit in place. Even if I don't run out of bobbin, I think I better wind some bobbins before tomorrow. I gotta readjust already. Ugh, okay. Ooh, I think I'm gonna plop these right into my case as I go too. This is super duper magnetic, so hopefully it doesn't do anything to the machine, but I don't think it will. The machine's pretty strong. I just tightened this. It's totally tight, but I feel like I'm hearing like a little rattle or something. So I'm like, man, is something loose? I think it probably is just time to clean and oil and get a new needle and probably a new bobbin. I bet you the sound is like a low bobbin. And this was that last bobbin that I had where it was kind of angly wound, like it was wound pretty poorly. Because I don't really have a good winder for this. Although maybe I'll try this winder again. Those silicone bands that I put on the motor pulley, that wheel that turns the bigger wheel, man, those are working fabulously. So I might try that on the bobbin winder that's built into this. Put a silicone band on that as well. Because what was happening is I was just kind of polishing the outer wheel by winding the binding, or winding the bobbin. And it made it like so smooth that it wouldn't grip onto the motor wheel. But ever since I got those little stretchy silicone bands and put them on there, it's been working awesome. Like it's not sliding it or slipping at all, the wheel. So that has been good. Not out of bobbin yet. I feel like I'm sewing straighter than usual too, which is exciting. It's not catching here as much as it has been. So actually I'm not really on all these like seams here, so maybe just because it's not grabbing on anything on the corners, it's not like pulling in weird directions. So I'm actually getting some straightish seams, it looks like. That feels new. They're not as wiggly as I sometimes make them. my machine is moving, moving off the table here a little bit. That's not good. I have little rubber bottoms, not even rubber bottoms. I have like those felt pads that you put on the bottom of chairs. I put some of those on the feet of this machine, and then I put some of those like rubber, or I guess they're silicone, those sticky things that I put on my rulers. I forget what they're called now. But that helps keep it from sliding, but I think they're a little too fuzzy at this point, so I need to replace those, I think. My machine's moving on me. That's not good. Whoop, a little far. And we are still sewing, so we haven't ran out of bobbin yet. Okay, I'm going to rotate around and we'll try and get that other side done yet too. And like I said, I'll press it tomorrow. We'll finish it tomorrow. Woo, on the floor. Come back. Okay. Oh, I'm finding other clips around here, so that's where my other ones must have gone. Hanging out here. Oh man, so much fabric. Alright, I can feel like the fabric pulling kind of weird, and you can kind of see the bottom piece kind of bubbling up. That's just because it's so not even on the table and on my lap and stuff, so it's pulling in all sorts of directions. So let's just get resettled here a little bit, straighten ourselves out. You can hear it kerchunk through all the seams. There's tons of seams in this border. So maybe that's actually why it's loud, is we're going through piles of seams. I still feel like we're gradually getting closer to falling off the table, which would be so bad. I have to keep an eye on that. Ooh, let's get the stiletto here. There we are. Oh yeah, True Grips, that's what they're called. The rubber little stickers that I put on my ruler. Man, that's one of my top 5 tools that I've learned about that has made a huge difference in my quilting and this whole process. Though it just seems so simple. It's just these silicone or rubber or whatever clear stickers. They're little circles. True Grips is what they're called. Is the brand name. And yeah, it keeps my ruler from moving on the fabric, which was always a big problem. Like, you'd start cutting and then your ruler would just kind of veer off. That was greatly reduced with the True Grips, and like I said, I've put them on the bottom of my machine so it doesn't move so much when I sew. because I'm just sitting on the top of the table here. I'm not in a cabinet or anything. Ooh, I better check to see if I'm still sewing. I'm afraid I'm going to run out of bobbins still. But yeah, the one thing is just, like, if you use them a lot, you know, you're doing a lot of fabric stuff, so they get kind of fuzzy, so you have to kind of wipe them off, wipe that fuzz off with, like, a wet rag or something to get it back to normal. Or, you know, you just put new stickers on. It comes with a whole, like, several sheets of them. If they get grimy or yucky. But that's one of my top favorite things, tools. That I feel have made a big difference. We're getting there. I feel like this one's taking forever, but maybe it's just because we're almost done. So it's seeming like it's taking time. Ooh, let's get my leader helping me out here again. There we go. I'm just holding it down so it doesn't flop up that seam allowance. Alright, I'm getting pulled funny again. Last one. Yep, I'm stuck. I'm being held on the corner there, so that from the other border got stuck on that corner there. I'm just stitching in the same spot. Ooh. Got a full little tin there again. Gosh, man, the moment I hit this border where the seams are exposed to these bits again, it immediately started grabbing and pulling. Weird. Oh, I got a leader right here. Let me just snip that and use that one. Alright, so I think we will call it there for the night. This will just be right here, ready to press tomorrow, but let's just take a peek. So there we go. That's the official, like, edge here. I do think it just frames that middle border nice. Just it gives it a little bit of some breathing room, and it adds size to the quilt, which is nice too. So, all right, so we'll press those two sides tomorrow, and then we'll take a look at what other fabric I have left over for this project, and we can maybe start thinking about sewing the back together, maybe picking what we want to use for the binding, at least a little bit. We'll just explore. That'll be the plan. All right, so thanks again, everyone, for joining me here. I just pulled this up again, our embroidery of the month. I think it matches this quilt really well, at least the colors I picked for it. So like I said, I might use it for my label. I think maybe it kind of fits the colors. So this is the embroidery of the month, the butterfly. The bundles are available now, and I shipped a bunch of them out today. So yours might be, if you already got it, it might be in that group. Otherwise, I will ship the rest tomorrow. I didn't quite get them all done today. So they'll be going out tomorrow if they didn't go out today. So you should have them soon. And I am excited to stitch it with that whipped back stitch. It's just going to be so fun. And if you haven't done the whip back stitch before, it's going to be like a new favorite for sure. So, all right. And we're also doing the blanket stitch. So we don't do that very often in my embroideries. So it'll be good practice for a blanket stitch. And we're doing it as a surface blanket stitch, which means that it's not along the edge of the fabric. It's actually within the fabric as like a surface stitch. So basically the same, done in the same way. So we'll be exploring that as well. All right, you guys, have a fabulous rest of your evening, and I will see you here again, YouTube and Facebook at 8:30 p.m. tomorrow. All right, have a great evening. Good night.